It's also about taking a hard look at what isn't.
You mean figuring out what's draining your resources, but not really giving you much back?
Exactly. Koch is all about asking the hard question. So if a product, a service, whatever, if it's not performing, you got to ask, why are we even doing this? Is this helping anyone? Maybe it's time to cut it loose and focus that energy on something better.
That takes guts.
Welcome to Witter. Who Has Time to Read? The podcast that brings deep dives for busy minds. Listen to AI hosts Jane and Dane and get ready to unpack the world's most captivating books in just a fraction of the time. Whether commuting, working out, or just squeezing in a quick break, we deliver key insights, thought-provoking themes, and takeaways you can carry into your day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Plus, use our links in the description to purchase this book. Your support helps us bring more engaging book discussions to you. Listen and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Who has time to read? You do, with Witter.
Hey everyone, ready to kind of unlock a secret to getting way more done. Like way more, but with less work.
Less work is right.
Today, we're diving deep into the 80-20 principle. This idea could seriously change how you see your work, your life, everything, really.
It's about working smarter, not harder, you know? Imagine figuring out the 20% you do that gets you 80% of the results.
Exactly, like finding a cheat code for like max impact. We're going through Richard Koch's book, The 80-20 Principle. It's full of these crazy examples, even from his own life, how he built this crazy successful career.
The wild part is, this isn't some new thing. It all started over 100 years ago with this economist, Vilfredo Pareto.
So what did Pareto find?
Picture this. He found that, get this, 80% of the land in Italy was owned by just 20% of the people. That's a huge imbalance, right? But here's the thing. This whole unequal distribution, this 80-20 thing, it's everywhere.
Wait, so it's not always exactly 80-20?
Exactly. Could be 90-10, 75-25, whatever. The point is, a tiny percentage of causes often creates a huge percentage of effects.
So like in a group of friends, probably a couple people drank most of the beer.
Right. Koch tells the story in the book about this guy, Mike G. Out of 30 friends, he drank 10 glasses of beer by himself.
Whoa.
That's a third. Just him. This pattern's everywhere, from like how wealth is spread out to even the words we use every day.
Speaking of words, did you know only 700 words make up most of what we say daily? Crazy, right? Seems like the more you look for these imbalances, the more you find. How can people listening use this, though?
Yeah.
Like, to their advantage?
Koch talks about two ways, 80-20 analysis, that's all data, and 80-20 thinking, which is about changing how you see things.
So we're focusing on the thinking part today, training our brains to spot these patterns.
Yeah, it's about seeing your successes, problems, even opportunities through this new lens. Like, with your career, what if instead of being okay at a bunch of things, you became amazing at that crucial 20%?
Now that's working smarter. And Koch actually did this. He joined this consulting firm, right? Realized the fastest promotions were where there were fewer super smart people. So he went where he'd stand out.
That's just the start. He ended up at this firm where the founder, get this, made 80% of the profit, but did hardly any of the actual work.
No way. Serious? Like this principle is built into the world or something, but it gets wilder. Koch used this to make a really gutsy move.
Right. He and some partners, they ditched that and started their own firm. That way, they were the founders getting most of the profit. Total 80-20 move.
He cracked the code. But it wasn't all business, right? He was also great at investing.
Oh, totally. Put a huge chunk of money into one company, Filofax. Everyone thought he was nuts. But guess what? Huge win. Shows that focusing on a few key things can mean massive returns.
So how do we use this 80-20 thinking to, like, change our businesses? Where do we even start?
It's like you gotta rethink all those old ideas about how businesses work.
Like we don't have to spread ourselves thin trying to please everyone.
Forget trying to be everything to everyone. The 80-20 principle is all about finding your strengths, your best customers, and going all in on that.
So pick your battles, basically. Focus on where you're going to win.
Exactly. It's choosing where you put your energy, your resources. Koch even gives you like a step-by-step. He calls it an 80-20 analysis.
Okay, so step one. What do we do?
Data, right. But not just any data. You got to find the imbalances in your business. So break down your profits, like by product, by type of customer, even by location.
So you might find out what, like, one product is making most of your money, or a handful of really loyal customers.
Exactly. This is where you find those hidden gems, those things that are already working like crazy, but you didn't even realize.
This is like treasure hunting, but for profit. So we found the good stuff, now what?
Here's where it gets good. You got the data, now you got to ask the tough questions. Why are these things working so well? What makes them special? How do we do more of that?
Right, so if like 80% of your profit's coming from 20% of what you sell, figure out what's so great about those things and like make more of them.
Yes, understand what's working and use that to grow. But here's the thing, and this is where it gets even more interesting. 80/20 isn't just about what's working. It's also about taking a hard look at what isn't.
You mean figuring out what's draining your resources, but not really giving you much back.
Exactly. Koch is all about asking the hard question. So if a product, a service, whatever, if it's not performing, you got to ask, why are we even doing this? Is this helping anyone? Maybe it's time to cut it loose and focus that energy on something better.
That takes guts. But yeah, you'd end up with a leaner, more profitable business in the end.
It's about making tough choices, challenging how things have always been done, and sometimes letting go to make room for something better. And you can use this everywhere in your business: marketing, sales, how you run things, even customer service.
So how would a company use this for, like, marketing?
Okay, so instead of trying to reach everyone, right, you figure out who your most valuable 20% are, the ones spending the most, the ones who are going to be your biggest fans, and you focus all your energy on them.
It's like quality over quantity. Build strong relationships with the customers that really matter.
Yes, you create these super fans who'll stick around and tell all their friends about you. Way better than any ad.
Makes sense. And what about sales?
Same idea. You don't treat all your salespeople the same. You find the rock stars, the ones crushing their targets, and you figure out what their secret is.
Learn from the best and then, like, spread that knowledge around.
Exactly. Figure out their strategies, their methods, and get everyone using them. Now that's working smarter. But it's not just about individuals. Koch talks about trying this with whole teams, too.
Like, what, swap a team that's doing great with one that's struggling?
Yeah. Like, switch them up and see what happens. It's like a real-world experiment to see if the success is because of the team or if there are deeper issues.
Interesting. So it's about figuring out why things work and seeing if you can make that work somewhere else.
Exactly. You're always trying to improve, right? Figuring out what's working, what's not, and why. You use data to make better decisions.
So it's not just about numbers. It's about, like, changing how you think, being picky about what you focus on, and really zeroing in on what matters.
Exactly. And the best part, this isn't just for business. It can change your personal life, too.
Now, that's what I want to hear about.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we've seen how this 80/20 thing can shake things up in the business world, but let's get real. How can this help us live happier lives? You know, lives we actually enjoy.
This is where it gets good. It's not just about getting more done. It's about building a life you actually love.
Okay, I like where this is going. What does Koch say about that?
He says we have more time than we think.
Right.
Yeah, he says we should stop just trying to manage time better. Instead, we should find those things that make us truly happy. Those happiness islands and achievement islands, he calls them.
Happiness islands. Okay, now you got to explain that.
I gotcha. Think of it like this. You've got work, chores, errands, all that stuff we got to do.
Right.
But then there are these moments, these islands, where you're doing something you truly love, something that makes you happy, like spending time with people you care about, hobbies, reading a good book, even work that feels meaningful, you know?
So happiness islands, those are like the moments when we feel totally energized and like alive.
Exactly. And then you've got achievement islands. That's where you're really good at something, where you feel like you're crushing it. Like maybe it's a big project at work, learning a new skill, finally reaching a goal you've had for a while.
So the 80/20 thing, it's saying instead of spreading ourselves thin, trying to do everything, we should just focus on those happiness and achievement islands.
Exactly. It's about choosing how you spend your time and energy on what matters most. And get this, that includes your relationships too.
Now that's interesting. Never thought about using 80/20 for relationships.
Yeah, it's easy to try to be friends with everyone, right? Keep up with a ton of people. But what if we took a closer look at those relationships? Are we spending most of our time with people who actually bring us joy? Or are we just going through the motions?
Wow. That's a good question. It makes you realize that sometimes saying no to some things, even relationships, can actually free us up to give more to the ones that truly matter.
Exactly. Set those boundaries. Choose who you spend your time with, because those people, they have a huge impact on your happiness, so choose wisely.
So we've got our islands, we've got our people. What else can we do to be happier, according to Koch?
He's big on finding work that lights you up, aligning your work with your passions.
That whole do what you love thing.
Yeah, but he knows it's not always that easy. But he says it's super important if you want to feel truly fulfilled.
Sure, I mean, I get it. Finding that perfect fit, it's easier said than done, right? But yeah, if you can find that, I can see how that would be amazing.
And he actually gives advice on how to turn what you love into a career, like finding your people, building relationships with clients you actually want to work with, creating a lifestyle that you enjoy. It's all possible.
It's about designing a life you actually want, right?
Yeah.
Both personally and professionally.
Oh, exactly. And here's the big takeaway from all of this. It's not just about doing more, it's about doing the right things. Real success, it's not about how much you do, but the impact you make and how much joy you find along the way.
So as we wrap things up here, what's the one thing you really hope people listening will take away from all this?
I hope they feel like they can take control, Look at their lives in a new way. Where are they spread too thin? Where are their happiness and achievement islands? What small changes can they make starting today? Even little things can make a huge difference.
Love that. Couldn't agree more. This has been awesome. Thanks for taking us on this deep dive. Really gets you thinking. And to everyone listening, we hope you got as much out of this as we did. Until next time, keep exploring. And remember, even a small shift in focus can unlock some pretty amazing things.
Thanks for listening to Witter, Who Has Time to Read, produced by One Media. Please support the author by purchasing the book or audiobook using the link in the description. It's a great way to help keep the art of writing alive. And stay in the loop. Subscribe to our newsletter for updates on weekly deep dives. And don't forget to share your thoughts or suggest our next deep dive at witterpodcast@gmail.com.